Hi there guys, welcome back to the Tower Tech. Today we're going to be taking a look at whether you can build a gaming PC at the same price point as a modern console. So modern consoles have got pretty powerful at a pretty impressive price point. The PlayStation 4 Slim and the Xbox One S are impressive pieces of machinery. Both are sporting an 8-core AMD CPU, and both of them have got integrated AMD GPUs that respectively deliver 1.8 teraflops and 1.4 teraflops. Now, that's not impressive relative to things like the GTX 1080, but it is pretty impressive when you're talking about £230 there or thereabouts for the PlayStation 4 Slim and £250 there or thereabouts for the Xbox One S. Difficult to achieve that pricing point with a modern gaming PC, but let's have a look to see if we can. So we've come up with a hypothetical list of components to see if they can stack up against their console equivalent. So the first thing that we've chosen is an AMD 8-core CPU. It's the Piledriver FX8 8-core 8300 Black Edition. Now, this is significantly faster than its console equivalent, but is probably the closest that we can get to. It's clocked in at 3.3 GHz, which is significantly higher than the 1.7 GHz CPU that you'll find in your console equivalent. We're going to need a main board. We've gone cheap and cheerful, so I've chosen the M5A78L-M AMD motherboard from ASUS. This has got onboard integrated graphics, but we're going to have a separate graphics card in order to get above that 1.8 teraflops. So the GPU that we've chosen is the Radeon RX 460 Red Dragon Edition. This is a fantastically priced GPU at $99.95. Indeed, you may be able to find it cheaper elsewhere, and will absolutely smash anything that a console can produce. This GPU is turning out 2.2 teraflops, which beats both the PlayStation 4 Slim and the Xbox One S. For RAM, we've gone for some value Corsair 8GB DDR3, again equivalent to what you find in your console counterparts, but remember that the consoles are sharing the RAM between the CPU and the GPU. We've got an independent GPU in our system which has got 2 gigs of GDDR memory inside it, and we've actually got 8 gigs of our DDR3 RAM as well. So we've got higher spec CPU, we've got a higher spec GPU, and we've got more memory resources to share between those two system components. We're going to need a hard drive, so again we've gone for a budget OEM 500 gig SATA drive from Toshiba, equivalent to the base models that you find for both the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One S. I have decided to go for a Blu-ray drive that is capable of reading 4K discs. Now, you will need to have a little hunt around to find some software that's going to be compatible with that, that's going to be able to display that back on your PC. What you're looking for in the specification is drives that support the BDXL file format on Blu-ray. So we've managed to find one at a very reasonable pricing point, $53.99, so we're going to put that into our build. Going to need a power supply, so we've gone for a Kolink's Core Series 300 watt power supply. It's very low powered, but should be more than sufficient for this build. It is an 80 plus certified power supply, so it's going to be reasonably economical once it's in your build. For our case, again, we've gone for the Kolink's Victory Micro-ATX gaming case. Very reasonable case, more than sufficient space for a Micro-ATX board, which is what we've got, and reasonably priced at $22.99. And then of course we need to think about putting things in like wireless network cards, because all of the consoles have a wireless capability within them. Again, you can get that for £20 to £25. An operating system, of course, we're going to need to buy separately. Now, I'm not going to put any links to where I found the pricing for this operating system. I'm not 100% convinced of the validity of the website, but it did suggest that you can get a Windows 7 OEM disc for $14.99. Use these keys websites at your own risk. There are many that are absolutely legitimate and really, really good value for money. I have heard instances where people have got themselves a key and that key has been revoked by the vendor, so that's something that you need to think about as well. And last, but by no means least, we need ourselves a cheap keyboard and mouse combi. Of course, the consoles come with a controller, so they've got everything that you need in the box ready to get up and running. You can pick these up for a tenner. Now, when you tot all of that cost up, you may or may not have been keeping track as we've been going through the course of the video, very quickly becomes apparent that you cannot build yourself an equivalent gaming PC on brand new modern hardware at the same price point. All of the things that we've totted up in our basket can come to what is very reasonable £460.77. Now, that is a good price for a complete PC. Your equivalent console, $229.99 for the PlayStation 4 Slim and $249.99 for the Xbox One S. So, what's the moral of this video? If you're down at the lower budget end of PC building, you're probably better off getting yourself a console. It's going to be cheaper, it's going to be a seamless, easier experience, and the thing's going to work the second that you've taken it out of the box, plugged it into your telly and connected it to power the PC. You're going to have to assemble. It's going to create a slightly more varied set of opportunities for use cases, but not enough to be worth the price. So if it's just gaming that you're after and it's a sharp pricing point that you're looking for, particularly now that these consoles both support 4K streaming and indeed the Xbox One S supports 4K Blu-rays, you really cannot go wrong at those price points. I hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. If you're not already subscribed, then please do so by hitting that button there. If you liked the video, please give it a like. If you didn't, you know what to do. And I'll see you in my next video.